Welcome to my video series on the heroine's journey. I'm Susanna Liller, and it's time to find your happiness. So here we are. I have so enjoyed you traveling together with me and Pamela and Maureen and Lisa. And now here we are at the last one, and it's going to be hard to say goodbye to you, but who knows, maybe I can bend their arms a bit and see if they will do a update video with me so we can see where they are today. But here's the final one that they did with me. After we had gone through all the steps, I asked them to reflect on the journey in general, the benefits of going through it and doing what they did in the book and then with me in these videos. And I ask each of them a different question. And these women are wise, and they share some great wisdom with us. And you'll see that Lisa talks about the value of looking back because we don't remember what we've done. And it's good to acknowledge ourselves and our journeys and to celebrate, not just always be looking forward. And then Maureen talks about the value of having a map and knowing the milestones and knowing that maybe when something's going on, well, it's because you accepted an amazing transformational opportunity. And of course, you're on the road of adventure, and sometimes it's tough, but it will pay off. More than once throughout all these videos, they say, I've heard them say, it's well worth it, no matter how difficult it might be. And then we get to Pamela, and I love her response. She says, well, it's not always heroic. There isn't always a dragon. There isn't always a call. And she's sitting on the couch, and she's enjoying her time on the couch and enjoying her granddaughters. And after writing her book and having it be a success, dancing on the head of a pin. I don't know if we ever actually mentioned the name of her book, but she says, the biggest thing I'm writing is my grocery list. So I invite you to listen in as we bring this particular series of videos that go with my book and go with the chapters of my book. And I thank you again for joining us. We have really loved having you with us. And I hope to see you again. And remember, always remember, you too are a heroine. Thank you very much for helping us illustrate the story. But I want to just ask you some kind of in the moment now questions. And I think I'll start with Lisa and ask you about. Now, here I am thinking it's good for everybody to know, every woman to know the heroine's journey and to look back at the leaps that they've had and the journeys they've taken. Do you feel there's a benefit to doing that? Or should we always be looking ahead?
Well, I loved this. This evening of just the chance to look back at my own journey and listening to Pamela and Maureen talk about their journeys. So it's been really valuable for me to sit and to acknowledge myself. I think that's something that is a practice that it's easy to forget, to celebrate ourselves and to acknowledge how far we have come. As long as we're alive, there's something happening next, not necessarily planning, but we're tuning into what's next. And I loved just being able to look at it in the steps that you've created, Susanna, to really take each section and acknowledge it for what it was. And I'm actually now in the process of creating a one-woman show, a theater show, actually, so a totally new medium for me that is autobiographical. And one of the challenges has been to reduce it down to little bite-sized chunks. And so this helped me to do that.
Very good. And I've got to think that I mean, that's a big thing that you're doing with this show, and kudos to you. And I've got to think, though, as you look back at what you've done, you can say, my God, I've done this before. I survived. It was good. It helped me go forward and evolve. So I'm going to be okay with this.
This gathering that you created and hearing other women's stories was very encouraging. So many times on this path, we may feel we're alone, especially when we're going into new territory for ourselves. And so I love what we're modeling here about finding people who can receive your story in a really compassionate way because of what they lived.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. So Maureen, how about this question for you? What are the lessons you've learned on the journey, or the lessons the journey can teach anybody, really?
One of the lessons, I mean, there's so many lessons along the way, and I think what smacks to me with the heroine's journey, or the hero's journey, is you with your book have provided such a great roadmap for women to go, oh, okay, I understand this is what's happening, and being able to name it and giving people strategies to work through it. And I had the honor to be some of my story to be shared in your book with the roadmap. As we continue to move forward in our lives, we enter different journeys. It's not a one and done. Oh, look what you did, you're so courageous, and then there was a destination, and I've arrived, and it's a party, and I'm done. Gonna hang my hat and I race my bicycle again. Because years go by and that story gets old, not for everybody else, but also for myself. I'm living forward and wanting to do and doing new things. And as I answer the calls, or listen for the calls to start with, what's mine to do, and asking that question, is I have this roadmap. I know there's going to be dragons, and I know there's going to be guides along the way, but for me, it's important to move. Fast forward 12 years, then what are they doing? It's like they're probably onto something else if they are following their hearts and following the territory that you so brilliantly illustrate for your readers.
Thank you. And it could be a whole nother conversation for the four of us to talk about. How do you get quiet to listen to your heart? And how do you really pay attention here? What do you have to do to get connected here so you're not listening to all of that? But I don't want to keep you too long, so let me go to the actress in the group. And, well, we also have Lisa, but I'm going to ask you, Pamela, in the moment now, where are you? Are you in the belly of the whale? Are you finding your dragon? What's your current heroine's journey?
I think it's so interesting because my current heroine's journey is not particularly heroic, and I'm okay with that because I feel like we as women, we're so programmed to do. And to be. And I've got these 3 little granddaughters that I just love spending time with. I started saying no to so many different things. Like I'll go to a play and people will say, well, when are we going to see you again up there? And I'm like, probably not for a while. I'm really enjoying being on my couch. And I think that's okay. I think we as women need to be given permission to just rest. I feel like I've almost given people the impression that there's like these nonstop dragons, and there's not. There's not always a dragon, and there's not always, and you know yourself, there's not always a call. It's okay to just rest and to just stop. And so that's kind of what I've been doing. I've just been resting, enjoying going out to eat with friends. I haven't written a thing except for my grocery list. And because for so many years I was called to act, and then I was called to write, and so it was all about creating. And now I feel like I'm creating this sense of peace and calm and sitting on my couch and or playing with my granddaughters. And I'm so okay with that. Having said that, I started this screenplay, I don't know how many years ago. And just lately, it's kind of been, I've been thinking, maybe I'll dust that off. I don't feel bad about the fact that I haven't touched it for 5 years. I was just like, well, okay, it wasn't ready to be born yet. What I know is that I'm okay with that.
Right.
And so I do think as women, it's really important to be okay, not slaying a dragon or not even hearing a call. Maybe there is no call right now. Maybe it's Sprint and the cell tower isn't receiving.
And so the message is, wherever you are, it's okay.
And wherever you are is where you are.
We're all walking, but she might be there and you might be here, and it's got to be what's right for you. And the call, if it comes in many different ways. And yours might be like scratching, it's not like knocking, but
kind of like my cat has been at the door. Yeah. Very much like that.
I need to let you go get to your cat. Is there anything that we didn't say that would be good to say before we close?
I would just like to say, just to thank all of you ladies for your courage and for your heroism, and you, Susanna, for writing this book. And as Maureen said, giving us this just phenomenal roadmap to be able to develop the tools to know and to do and to be.
Yeah, it's a great gift for women because we do things differently, and that's something I had to learn. And I don't mean to go on and on, but it's a huge thing that I'm getting in this talk. That is like that's part of what I had to do. I couldn't do this anymore.
Yeah,
I had to tap into my own nature, which is feminine.
I want people listening to hear how all of you, what you did was tap into yourselves and your own inner voice and had the courage to follow that. And if that isn't being a heroine, and if you guys aren't heroic,